what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, everyone, please be seated. My name is Dave Glover. I'm the host of a radio show in St. Louis, Missouri called The Dave Glover Show. And about a year and a half ago, I was contacted by some people who told me about Corporal Todd Nicely. In fact, the Marine who went to Corporal Todd's family's home to tell him what had happened to Corporal Todd, Lieutenant Colonel Tomko, is a very good friend of mine, and he called me as he was sitting outside Todd's home. So I, in some ways, have been in on this since the very beginning. I can promise you there's nowhere else, not an address in America I would rather be today than standing right here with all of you. It's a fantastic, wonderful, beautiful day. And on behalf of the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation, Building for America's Bravest, and the Gary Sinise Foundation, thank you all so very much for sharing today with us. There were literally hundreds of organizations who stepped up, who donated their time, their talent, their resources, their money. So many that if I were to name them all, we would be here for an hour, and it's the hottest day in 60 years, so I'm just going to highlight a few of them. Many of them are here today. Rehagen Heating and Cooling, Hope for the Warriors, Lionel NASCAR Collectibles, the Simplify Fund, the Home Depot Foundation, James Hardy Siding, Schumacher Elevator, Lakeshore Tram, Bosun Underground Construction, Crescent Plumbing, Mainline Fire Sprinklers, Iron Barley, my good friend Mark Bolger and the Mark Bolger Foundation, Old Monroe Lumber, and Jim Schubert Designs, who I was just speaking to. He's a St. Louis boy, and he let me know that he and his manufacturers have committed to 11 homes at over $1 million, so thank you to Jim. And a special thank you for Shawn Auto and Auto Construction, the general contractors to this beautiful home you are about to see behind you. I had the great pleasure of meeting Gary Sinise, Lieutenant Dan, who most of you know from Forrest Gump. And in my job as a talk show host in St. Louis, and then when Glenn Beck is on vacation, I'm Glenn Beck nationally, so I get to meet pretty much everybody. And all too often, Hollywood stars disappoint you. They're not what you'd hope that they would be. And with Gary Sinise, it was absolutely the opposite. Gary is one of the truest, finest gentlemen I've ever met. He could not be here today, but he has sent along a letter, and I would like to read it to you now if I could. I'm sorry I can't be there today to wish you both all the happiness for your future. Crystal, your strength, optimism, and commitment to Todd in the life you're building together is an example to all who are faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles. I'm sorry I cannot be there today to wish you both all of the happiness in your life that you're building together is an example to all who are faced with seemingly insurmountable life challenges, and I am moved by your devotion to your husband. Todd, your resilience and tenacity in the face of these incredible life challenges has been an inspiration to me and to all who are gathered here. You are a true example of the spirit of a Marine. You never quit, and you show us all that no matter what is thrown at you, we all have it within us to turn a tragic event into a triumph. My only hope for you today is that this house marks the beginning of a new and better chapter for your life together. God bless you both, and welcome home. Signed, very truly yours, Gary Sinise. So most of you know what happened to Todd, and I remember when I heard the story, and you hear far too many of these stories, the first thing that stood out to me, this is before I ever met Todd, was that Todd's first thought after stepping on this IED and being blown into a river in Afghanistan is he heard himself screaming, and he said, I have to stop screaming because I'm going to scare my men. Some of you out there have been tested like that. I never have. I hope I never am. But when someone is, and they pass the test miraculously, then they deserve everything that we can do for them. In addition to Gary Sinise, there's one man who is really primarily responsible for this. He'll deny it, but it's true. And as I said in my job as a radio personality, I get to meet a lot of people. And in my 12 years, I've come to know one thing, proof positive. The most memorable people to me aren't the Hollywood stars or the professional athletes or the millionaires. They are the ordinary among us who do extraordinary things. And as Frank will tell you, he lost his brother Steve in a firefighter on 9/11. Something that most of us can't even begin to imagine and don't want to imagine. And when something like this happens to us, the death of a loved one, cancer, we say, we're going to turn this into something good. And most of the time, we don't. And in the case of the Stephen Siller Foundation, this is the best example I know of taking something tragic and turning it into something heroic and miraculous. I can count on one hand the people who have made my career worth having, just having met them and become their friend. And Frank Siller is one of those gentlemen. Please, please help me to welcome, from the Stephen Siller Foundation, Frank Siller.
Dave, you're remarkable, and you have been on this from the very beginning. You met Todd before we did, and your support and the way you've brung so many people, that's a New York statement, brung. Brought so many people together. You are to be commended, and there should be more people doing what you do, given the opportunity to reach so many. So thank you, and God bless you for what you've done. Let's hear for Dave Glover. You know, Dave just read a letter from Gary Sinise, and I just want everybody here to know that that man and his foundation is unbelievable. What he does, he is now entertaining the troops, and that's why he can't be here today, because that's what he does all the time, because he knows all about the sacrifice that's made by our men and women in uniform every single day. So to have Gary Sinise as our partner in building these homes all over America, and we're building 11 of them, and I just saw Corporal Tyler Huffman just come in. Where's Corporal Tyler Huffman from Jeff City? Right over there. Give him a hand. Operation Tyler already started over in Jeff City. But when you are involved with a man like Gary Sinise and his organization and the amount of people you come across, and Dave hit the nail on the head, we have met so many great Americans. So many great Americans over the last 10 and a half years since 9/11 has been the greatest joy in my life besides my wife and my children. You are all very remarkable human beings, but nobody more remarkable than my buddy Todd. I just want to tell you one story about my brother and why it is so important to my family that we keep his spirit, his legacy, his sacrifice, and that we never forget alive. Some might know, some might not know. By age 10, my brother was orphaned. My father died when Stephen was 8 and a half, and my mom died a year and a half later. And Stephen was 14 years younger than me, and I was the closest in age, and he was the youngest of 7. My oldest brother, Russ, was 25. And soon after, he was orphaned, and he was living with my brother, Russ, out in Rockville Center on Long Island. We're all from Staten Island, except for my brother, Russ. He ended up moving. They're all back on Staten Island. And I went and I spent the day with Stephen, as all my brothers and sisters. He had like 3 fathers and 3 mothers, because there's, like I said, 7 siblings. And I was walking down the street. And I had my arm around my brother, and he was getting upset. He's an 11-year-old kid. I said, Stephen, what's the matter? And he said to me, Frankie, why was I born? Why was I even put on this earth? I said, Stephen, don't say that. Your mother and father loved you so much they brought you into this world. And your brothers and sisters will always be there for you, and we will never, ever, ever let you down. And I don't know the answer why God took Mommy and Daddy. But I know that you're put on this earth for a reason, and one day you will do something very special. 9/11. He's on his way home to play golf with his 3 older brothers. He hears what happened to the Twin Towers. He turns his car around. He goes back to his firehouse. He gets his gear. He can't go through the tunnel because it's closed. He's faced. He doesn't have to get there. That's not what firefighters do. That's not what our military do. He straps his gear on his back, and he does the thing that he was supposed to do as an 11-year-old, his fate. He saves others while giving up his life. There is nothing more inspiring to a family than that. And that's why we make sure that we spread the good, and that good triumphs over evil. And that's what leads us here to today. When we had the first quadruple amputee ever to survive any war in my hometown in Staten Island, New York, our community came together and built him a home with the help of Gary Sinise, because the fire commissioner of New York, I knew Gary. And I asked him to call him and ask him if he'd do a concert, and he did. And that's how the partnership began with Gary Sinise. And we all came together like you are here today. And it is spectacular. It is spectacular. I can't thank you enough. Everybody out here had something to do with it. Nobody does this alone. You inspired us, Todd. You have helped us to become better people. You have shown us the way to live when you're faced with something that is unfathomable. You help more people than you understand. And now we want to give a little something back to you. And it is our great pleasure to be here today and to honor you here today, Todd. I just want to give Todd Nicely a big round of applause. Come on, let's go. Come on. I have behind me 3 New York City firefighters, Battalion Chief John LaBarba, Battalion Chief John Carroll, and Lieutenant Jack Kelty, who all sit on the board of directors of our foundation. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of firefighters and civilians that do so much for us. But these 3 guys are relentless. They do so much, and they raise money. They've raised money towards Todd's house. At this point, I'm going to ask, they all fought the battle at Ground Zero. They all lost so many brothers. 343 firefighters that died that day, 40 police officers, a lot of first responders, to say the least. A lot of civilians did so many acts of courage that we don't even know about, and many we do. I'm going to ask Jack Kelty from the Lieutenant Jack Kelty to go up here and say a few words. Lieutenant.
Thanks, Frank. On behalf of the officers and members of the Fire Department of the City of New York, thank you for inviting us. It's our pleasure, honor, and humbling to be here today and to speak for these fine brothers and our brothers that we lost. People ask me all the time why we go out around the country to try to help these soldiers. And I can only answer them. On 9/11, America came to our back door. People from all walks of life came in the worst day of my life. And they picked us back up. And I've never been more proud to be an American as I was that horrible day. And America took fabulous care of us. The support we got was overwhelming. But the fight goes on, and people are still out there in harm's way. And people are still fighting the good fight, and they're still coming home hurt, and they're still getting banged up. And terrorists are still looking to kill Americans. And 9/11 was just one Tuesday, but that was the first day of this war. And there are still people in the front line. And as a firefighter, it's our way to say thank you to America, that we remember what 9/11 was, what America meant to us when they came and picked us up. So we will spend our days going out around this country and helping guys just like you, Todd, and all the other brothers who were helping. So after we took care of Brendan, we found out about Todd. What are we going to do? We'll come out to St. Louis. We got in touch with Mark Wahlberg, some of the firefighters from Eastern Missouri and members of the IFF, and we started reaching out to other fire departments from other localities and said, in honor of these first responders who gave so much on 9/11, that we have a special bond and we have outreach into communities. And with the help of firefighters from around America and police officers and EMS and all the first responders, we'll do what we can. And we want you to know that you will never be forgotten. That as long as our brothers are wearing a uniform, we will look out for those still in the uniform. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. We have, Dave mentioned about a lot of organizations that helped us, and there's some that help us on every single one that we're doing, and like I said, we can't do it alone. I'm going to ask Merker Young from Hope for the Warriors to come up and just say a brief word about what they do and how they're involved with us. Hope for the Warriors has donated $50,000 for every house that we are doing and I'll explain exactly, Mirka will explain where the money is going and how it helps us complete these missions. Mirka, come on up.
Thank you, Frank. And thanks, everybody, for being here today to honor the Niceleys. It's a pleasure to see you guys in person. Welcome home. And we are absolutely beyond proud of our partnership with the Sillers, with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, with the Gary Sinise Foundation, and everybody else who helped make this dream a reality. In this particular home, our money was put towards the kitchen, the bed, and the flooring. We will do whatever needs doing on the houses that Frank is going to be building for these heroes. And we couldn't be more proud to be here today to say welcome home and share in this lovely day with you guys. Thank you.
You heard Mirka say anything that we need, right? We taped this. Christine Canty from Semper Fi Fund. Christine, come on up. Christine and the Semper Fi Fund. Hurrah, yeah. The Semper Fi Fund gives a minimum of $25,000 per house, most certainly for every Marine, and they just informed us that they're making special stipulations for a lot of the ones who are the most seriously wounded to help us in, whether they're in the Army or Navy or Airmen. So come on up, Mirka.
Hi, I'm Janine Canty. I'm with the Semper Fi Fund. I'm honored to be here to represent the Semper Fi Fund today. I generally am a case manager, so I actually go up to Bethesda and I get to meet the families coming in. I don't tend to meet the Marines as quickly. It's the families that we try to assist, making sure they have their needs met. I remember particularly the day I met Crystal. All the family members usually have like the deer in the headlight look. They get so much information. There's medical information. There's so many organizations that want to help. So we just kept coming back to make sure that they knew we were here to assist. We offer family support grants. We do vehicle grants. We do just about anything that is a result of the injury. So, and once again, I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Frank, for inviting me. Todd and Crystal, I'm happy to be here. And I wish you many years of happiness in your new home. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. The next gentleman is out of St. Louis, and a remarkable man, heard through Dave's announcements on the radio about what we're doing with the concert in St. Louis, St. Charles Arena, back for Todd, back last August or May. You know, I'm losing dates, there's so many of them. And he's been involved with us, and he just committed to making sure through his business and the people that he's known for so many years in the furniture business, to furnishing all 11 houses that we are building this year. So Jim Schubert, please come on up here and say a few words. Come on, Jim. He didn't want to come up, that's why he's sitting way over there. But I think that should be recognized. Come on, Jim. Yep.
Good afternoon, and it's my pleasure and privilege to be here. Today, to me, is a very compelling day, not because of the issues that were handed down from the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C., because to me, it's the movement that's happening here and throughout the United States that people are willing to support their vets. And I take that very personally. When I was a young man, when I came home from serving in the military, we didn't have that same privilege and access to the warmth that is here today and other places. So first of all, I want to thank the Niceleys for letting me in on their lives. And there's been a lot of great things said here today, but I got to tell you, I feel selfish because, you see, I wake up every morning and I have a passion now, which kind of left me for a while. And the passion is to make sure that all the homes that are being built, and there'll be more homes than just 11, that will be furnished. And obviously, you have to sit someplace, you have to sleep someplace. And so our organization is called Schubert Design Furniture, and a foundation that my wife and I created, along with many other manufacturers, are committed to make sure that we supply the home furnishings for all of these homes. So it's me that's really getting the gratification, and I feel like I'm cheating because I'm enjoying it so much. So there's been a lot of so there's been a lot of eloquent words spoken today, and I'm not going to try to be redundant, but thank to all of you for coming out and supporting this. And Crystal and Todd, I hope you really, when you close those doors, enjoy your home, and especially your bullpen downstairs, your man cave and stuff. So anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for all coming out.
Thank you, Jim. Is somebody here from the Josh Chamberlain Society? Well, the Josh Chamberlain Society not only donated money to this project, Todd's project, they also are going to make sure that all his bills are going to be paid forever, right? And that doesn't mean, Crystal, you can go shopping. I want to make that clear. But it's pretty remarkable how everybody is stepping up. And I see the Home Depot here, the Home Depot Foundation. I just want you to know, just gave us a grant for $250,000 for our next projects too. So, not bad, not bad. And I believe that's just the beginning too. So I think that it's time we do this, right, Dave? Todd, Crystal, come on up. Yep. Where's Shawn Otto? Shawn, come on up here and help us do what we're going to do. Come on, give him a big hand. Todd, before we do the unveiling, the Fire Commissioner, Salvatore Cassano from New York, who sits on our board of directors, gave me something to make sure, and he gave this to me when we first started this project, and I've held it in our office. This represents the sacrifice that was made at Ground Zero on 9/11. He would like for you to hang this up in your home to signify the strength and the commitment between the fire department and our military. Todd, I'd like for you, from the Gary Sinise Foundation, from the Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation, and from the Fire Department of the great city of New York, a piece of Ground Zero steel. Can I ask for the FDNY come up and have a picture with them, please? Dave, come on up. Shawn, come on up. We'll use this right over here, this right here. All right. Yep, right there, okay. First of all, okay? Okay. Thank you. All right, Dave, we ready? You guys stay up here too. Fire department down there is ready. Got enough for you. All right, here it is. The certificate of occupancy. The site, approved. The footings, come on, approved. The foundation, approved. All the concrete, approved. The framing, approved. Electrical, approved. Plumbing, approved. AC mechanical, approved. Termite control, approved. The final, approved. Todd, here is your certificate of occupancy. Dave, let's get it. Ready? Let's pull back that flag.
All right, I'm gonna try to do this without choking up, so if I do, forgive me for that. Today is another day in my book of life that I'm probably gonna have to bookmark because I'm gonna have to try to remember this day for the rest of my life. From the biggest contributors to even the smallest contributors, someone played a big part in me getting this. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to be able to get into my home, and I'm going to be able to live a normal life. The world isn't so handicap accessible, but now in the comfort of my own home, I'll be able to continue living life. And the most important thing to me about this house is now that my wife Crystal is also going to get her independence back, she won't have to help me do so much. And then I just want to let people remember that, you know, the war might be over for me and the other guys in Afghanistan, but the war back home has just begun for us. So from the bottom of my heart and Crystal's, there's no way we'll be able to show the kindness that we have received back. Thank you.
Bear with me, because I know I'm going to cry during this whole thing, so if you can't understand me, I'm sorry. This house means, you know, it's more than just a roof over our head and, you know, a place for family to gather and come and hang out, because believe me, Todd's family does a lot of that, so this is going to be, a good thing, yeah, definitely. You know, I tell people, you know, I can live anywhere, any of us can. We all wake up, and even myself, we take advantage of the everyday things that we do on a daily basis. And then when Todd got hurt, it really, you know, I was always caring towards the disabled before, but to have this personally touch my own life and see him struggle in the beginning and just kind of, I don't know, strive through it all, not just for myself, but for his family and for, you know, everybody else that was looking, that was saying, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And believe it or not, it's really hard. And he's a very strong individual, but this, you know, I've never seen a man get so emotional about something. This means so much. The people that have come together on it and the love that has went into it from everybody, not just the people that are here today, but the people that have given throughout this whole process through Todd's rehabilitation. So thank you all that know, and then just for supporting and giving your love, because it really does mean a lot. Todd and I wanted to kind of do something in the yard for the foundation and for Stephen Siller. We had a plaque made, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "Firemen never die; they just burn forever in the hearts of the people whose lives they've saved." And it, Stephen Siller, FDNY, still changing lives. Stephen Siller, Tunnels to Towers Foundation, and this is gonna be a cherished part in our yard because it's just something that means a lot to us, and we'll never be able to thank you. Like, thank you really doesn't do any part of this justice. Well, there's no words to fully express what this means. So we'll probably be continuing to say thank you for the rest of our life, Frank. So, but thank you so much.
So as Frank said, if you're here for a reason. You didn't just meander here. You were here because you had a part in it. And as Todd said, whether you wrote a check for $250,000 or you donated $10, you were a part of this, and you'll carry that with you the rest of your life. We're going to conclude the ceremony today. We have refreshments over in the tent over here to my right. I believe we're going to let the media in first so they can see Todd and Crystal's beautiful home. You'll all get a chance to see it. I've seen it, and I can tell you that in my wildest dreams, I didn't picture it like this. It's absolutely stunning. On behalf of the foundations and the sponsors and the FDNY, everybody here, let me just end with this one thought, that I spend a good part of my life on the air, locally and nationally, arguing with people, debating people, fighting people, listening to people across the country, telling me what America is, what it should be, what it shouldn't be. And if there's a better representation of what America is and always will be, I don't know what it is. To me, this is what America is all about. Please, one final standing ovation for Todd and Crystal, the United States Marine Corps, and the United States of America. Excuse me, everybody. As Frank alluded to, Gary Sinise is coming to Jefferson City July 27th to do another concert for Corporal Huffman. And we have Rosie over here from the Huffman Foundation. She has tickets to that. So buy them today, and if not, just remember to tell all of your friends, all of your family, July 27th in Jeff City for Tyler Huffman. Thank you.
Here, Abby.